Hi, I'm Karen Wilmer-West, and if you want to learn more about my play, Nature Versus, at the Fringe Festival, watch this video. I fell in love with theater and felt like I had to be a part of the theater world. When I was probably in my teens, there was a special program at our school that had the Atlanta Shakespeare Company come to our school. And so these professional actors who did Shakespeare came to our school, and they would work with us to create a play at our school. And then we would go and perform it in downtown Atlanta at the Atlanta Shakespeare Tavern. And I had written stories, never written a play before. And I was lucky enough to be cast in one of these productions and go and work downtown in this theater and be on the stage and be a part of this. And I just fell in love with theater immediately. I think that desire to I feel like a lot of my writing is anchored in my love of performance and of understanding character. And so, yeah, it was the coolest thing. It was like an actual replication of the Globe Theater, but just in downtown Atlanta. If anyone's in Atlanta, they should go check it out. It's really cool. But yeah, I would say that it was at that age that I realized how alive and incredible theater could be. My love for writing, it went from an interest to an obsession. I would say around when I was 8 years old. We had this really rinky-dink little theater cutout. It looked like a castle. And my sister and I would stuff oranges in our shirts to look like a chest. And then we would use our cats as prop, kids. And so we would come up with these different plays and then perform them together for our parents. And so, of course, like one of us had to write them. And so I was like, I will do that. And that was just when we were learning at school about Comic Sans and how to type on computers. And so I would type up these absolutely horrible, horrible scripts and short stories. And most of them featured cats. And it's funny, now I'm a dog person, but back then it was all cats, guys. And so I started writing little plays and then stories. And I would say it became a full-on obsession when I moved out to Hollywood and was able to make it a career obsession. I got into writing, and it looks like writing for sketch, and now I work in television and theater. And so I think that it's all married together. But the theater for me always feels like the most alive venue for writing. Theater is so unique because the actors, I feel, they have to live that character. It's not just a close, tight shot where you get to kind of feel for a moment and then you cut. You feel for a half hour, an hour and a half, depending how long the play is. You step into those shoes. A director once told me when I was doing theater back in Atlanta that acting is the rare privilege to be able to step into the shoes of someone else for a brief period of time and then remove yourself. And so that discipline of it, I think, is most realized in theater. You are living that character. And so I think that to see your words come to life in that medium, you're not inches, but you are feet away from other people. And so you're living it with this audience and you feel that. And so therefore you also respond to it. My play is a dark comedy. And I think that especially with comedy, being able to feed off the energy of a live audience is unbelievable. It's game changing. And there's this kind of electricity, and you come out of it as an actor afterwards and you're kind of like, oh yeah, I was there. I was present in the moment, present in that time. And as a writer, I think that theater is it's a way of making the audience feel like they're in on it as well. And they're part of the play. They're definitely a character. I would say my writing process from idea to stage is, this idea, I just sat up in bed and went, I love this idea. And then it kind of goes from there. I would say from that inkling of, I've got an idea that I love. Then I start pen to paper. I'm a bit analog like that. I just start writing out who these characters are, or if it's an idea specifically, that's more of an action-oriented idea. I go, okay, well, what does that look like? What is this world? And so then I think everybody has a different way of doing it. But for me, for this specific play, it's very much about this dystopian reality. And my process for this particular play, sometimes I think you want to write about a character, and sometimes I think you want to write about a specific thing, an action or event or a world. And for this play, it was about this world and about this idea of exclusion politics and how we decide who belongs and who doesn't. And I had been teaching at a school this theory of Howard Gardner's 9 intelligences. And so I just thought, what would it be like if there was some kind of world that we literally made people live where they identified, where they tested based on this intelligence? And it's so dumb because we all share these intelligences to a certain degree. No one is just one thing. And so then I was like, what does that look like in a world? So then I sat down, researched those different intelligences, and came up with a class system that correlated with those intelligences. And then I went, who are the women from these different estates? And I circled on one, and that's where I based the play. It's a book club based in this one estate, and what happens when one of them tests out, and how they decide to tell themselves a narrative about her that fits in with she doesn't belong, and then kicking her out. And then they find out, well, you know, I'll leave that up. But so for that process, I think it was research, brainstorming, writing, and then finding the characters from there and figuring out what the beats would be of the discovery of the story. I heard about the Hollywood Fringe Festival through a friend who was doing it. And I'd heard about the Edinburgh Fringe, but I didn't know, and I know it's famous and incredible, and that's where some of the best artists are found. I didn't know there was a Hollywood one or New York one. And so my friend told me that she was going to do it. And I went to see one of her shows, and the theater where she set her show is actually part of the inspiration for the story of mine. And that's where we're also holding our show. So yeah, it was just the experience itself was really, really cool being around those artists and their shows. Theater Asylum, I really wanted to work with Theater Asylum because my friend who had her show at the Stephanie Fury had such a good experience with everybody involved. The producers were on it. They were so helpful. And the space itself was just perfect. And then when I went and looked at it, I totally agreed. The space was fantastic. They had furniture they could lend for props. And then the communication was fantastic. It was like if ever I had a question, within an hour, I got an answer. They were very respectful of my time and of the art I wanted to create. And that was really edifying and great. So I was teaching English as a second language to a school over in Beverly Hills part-time. And I was teaching this theory of, they had these different fun cultural activities. And one of them was talking about personality types and people. And there was this theory of Howard Gardner's called the theory of the 9 intelligences. And it's this idea that everybody, it's not just IQ, it's not just your SAT score, everybody has a specific talent, and that is a type of intelligence. And so there's interpersonal intelligence, which we think of with politicians and actors. They're just able to communicate and get their point across. And they're very well received. They're very charismatic. There's kinesthetic intelligence, which are athletes. There's musical intelligence. You can guess what that is. Existential intelligence, people, who ruminate about what it all means, the philosopher types. And so it just struck me as so interesting, this way to separate, that people have these different talents, even though we all relate to each of them in our own way. And so I sat up in bed one night thinking, it's so funny because that sounds like the most Hollywood way to say it, but it's true. So I thought, what if there was a book club where there are these women that, like, 1980s South, like, think Steel Magnolias. They're just happy, and someone brought a Jello mold and they're having sherry and talking about books. And it's in this, like, kind of jovial atmosphere that they find that one person no longer is the predominant intelligence that they all share. And so I thought about this, like, dystopian world where you have to take a test every 7 years, and it tells you which estate you belong into based on your predominant intelligence. And then it doesn't matter if you're married, doesn't matter if you've got kids, doesn't matter if you're the president, if you test out, you got to go. And what does it look like for these women to find out, oh, you tested out, and then to try to rationalize in their minds, yeah, you aren't really like us, are you? And then they suddenly take this person that was just like them and find all these ways of otherizing her and pushing her out. And it's so dumb because we all share these different traits to varying degrees. We all have these things. And the premise of the play, what it really rests on is just the power of groupthink and our desire as humans to exclude and otherize and to feel like we are in the tribe of the same identity. We don't like the idea of someone not belonging, even if it's the thinnest, dumbest reason that they don't belong. And we see that reflected in every form of our history and politics as human beings. So this is that to the, millionth degree of how absurd it could get but based on something I think all of us humans feel. So my actors are incredible. They are, we have Chaley Rose. She's mostly done TV. She did Nashville. She's a fantastic actress. She plays the character of Tibby, who's a very bohemian, woke activist who loves Sherry. And then, sorry, froze for a second. And then let's see, we also have Alex Felix. She went to the same university that I went to. She's hilarious. She's strong-minded, and she plays the character Jean Marie, who is a very black and white thinker, loves to gossip, loves being right. I kind of think of those classic women from the South growing up, women in the church that wear all their pearls and, are so kind to your face, but then, they can be a bit judgy. And then, let's see, I play the character of Betsy, who is a very naive, simple woman who has a bit of a traumatic past. And she is very sycophantic. She bows at the feet of anybody that she thinks is more powerful than her. She is a follower to the 10th degree. And then the last character is Annie Parker. And Annie Parker is played by the fantastic Sandra Rankins. She's amazing. And Annie Parker is just perfection personified. She's the vice president's wife in this world. She's beautiful. She's charming. She's the belle of the ball. Everybody worships her and loves her. And then we have the role of the cop. And that character is just this sort of like hilarious force of nature that comes in and kind of keeps everybody on task. And that's played by my friend Ryan. So our director, I co-direct it, but my co-director who taught me so much about blocking and organizing and has so many great impulses is Bradley Gosnell. And he's done a Fringe show before. He did Gun in a Hotel Bible. And he is also a theater professor at a school over in Thousand Oaks. And he's so talented and smart. And they're just an incredible team. We all meet up at my house to rehearse. And I couldn't have asked for a better cast or director. I wanted to have the play at the Hollywood Fringe Festival first because it felt like my stomping grounds, having lived in Hollywood for 6 years now. I could bring my community to this project, and yet it was enough of versus just doing it at a theater on my own. The festival atmosphere itself could bring outside voices to it and outside ears and other people to come and sort of give feedback and help me build this into the best show it could possibly be. And it was important for me to be able to invite not only everyone I knew, but hopefully part of the broader community to come see it, and also so I could engage with other artists and connect with them and go see their shows and kind of build part of that artistic community together was important for me. I want the audience to get out of my play how horrible people are. I'm just kidding. Maybe. I think I want people to get out of this play that we will do. Each of these women is kind of an archetype of us. And so I think if there's the ability to kind of let down our walls and for a moment go, this is how I hold on to my privilege, or this is how I hold on to my power, or this is how I otherize other people, then I think that is the job done. It has I won't describe the ending, but I think that I hope people leave with that. People should go to my play at the Fringe Festival because it's only half an hour. It is a dark comedy. It is wild. It's crazy. We talk about sex books. We drink sherry. It gets violent. And it's just, if you like Hunger Games and you like Steel Magnolias, come see them married together. It's a not only sort of political discourse with some deeper messages and things to ruminate on, but it's also just fun and it's quick and it shows you hopefully a side of yourself as well as my lovely actresses. I am looking forward to seeing, I'm going to be on stage. So I'm looking forward to seeing people hopefully in the audience. And let me think. I'm looking forward to, again, like letting people in on this world of something that we've been creating together and getting their feedback and seeing what they think. I think that so much of an artist is that fear, but that excitement of sharing something that you've been like slowly birthing in private. So yeah, I'm just excited to see how it lands. I'm excited to see the questions that come up or the things that the lines that I wrote that somebody thinks what, like my director, he loves this one line that I never thought about as I was writing the play. And I think it's really fun as a writer and so rewarding when somebody does feel something that maybe you felt when you were writing it, maybe you didn't. They find themselves in your writing. And I think that that is the coolest thing. And I hope that happens. Oh my gosh, everyone should attend the Hollywood Fringe Festival. It is an opportunity to see playwrights at work and actors in your community at work and other fellow artists in your community at work. It is such a vibrant collection. It is literally a rainbow of themes, genres, types of acting, types of shows, storytelling. It's just such a powerful collection of art. And I think that LA is a town that is so steeped in TV and film that people forget that theater is alive and it's happening all around us. And I just would encourage everyone to get out and participate in it. The Hollywood Fringe Festival is so important because, again, it brings people together in a city that historically doesn't celebrate theater like other famous cities in America. And it gives us this chance to really support the playwrights in this city and the artists in the city, and to see a lot of the actors that we're used to seeing on TV or on camera actually up in front of us doing this art. It gives us an experience that allows us to wash the dust of daily life off of our souls, and it allows us to connect to other audience members. You get that shared experience, and to these artists and to what they're doing. It relies so heavily on the community. We could not have these plays without all the other the theater directors in our community, the people, the Uber drivers shuttling people to and from performances, the restaurants that are feeding these casts and these directors, the costume shops, the thrift stores we're buying our costumes from. It literally takes such a global effort within our community of LA to put this up. And it's inspiring to see people come together to make that happen and to bring these shows to life. And it does take everyone. Local theaters are so important because that's where we see people who do the art for the sake of art put up their art. I think that local theaters, it's just like your local grocer. You know, it's like your local it's like anything that is, it's going to say a hand car wash. We have one around the corner. We went the other day, but it literally, that sense of local is that sense of community. And we need that desperately to feel connected as human beings to each other and to feel grounded in our sense of community. And supporting community theater means that you are supporting those mom and pop organizations in the artistic sense around you. And that preserves art in your community. And I don't think we realize how much, maybe we did in the pandemic, how important art is to us. We all escape by watching TV and film. And theater is the most ancient art of storytelling. And we have to be able to support that, because being able to take your kids to go see a show or being able to go yourself to a show or participate in a show is transcendent. It's on a level that TV and film can never get us to. And so I think that that is art in your community. That is something that has to be supported for the quality of life that I think we all seek. I just think it's a funny, fun time. It's a bit scary. It's a bit sensual. It's a bit everything. You know, there's violence, there's books, there's sex, there's sherry, there's a political discourse, and there's a mirror held up to the audience. And so I think that all those things make you want to come out. You should. I'm Karen Wilmer-West, and if you've enjoyed this conversation about my play Nature Versus, premiering this August at the Hollywood Fringe Festival, come. Buy tickets and come. It will be so much fun. And you can stream it online just in case you want to be COVID safe. We're all vaccinated, but I get it.